Hoth is the sixth planet in a remote, almost uncharted system of the same name, which revolves around a small, low-lived, blue-white sun. A frozen planet encased almost entirely in ice, it is covered with glacier fields, vast tundric expanses, and huge, mountainous drifts of snow. The wildlife on this planet, minimal in number, are mostly reptimammals combining the best defensive characteristics of reptiles with the more adaptable physiologies of mammals: blubber, protective fur, scaled hides and self-regulating metabolisms. Rising warmth from the planet's core, which never reaches the surface, creates underground caves, glacial valleys, and bubble-shaped grottos that many animals use for shelter. It should be noted that a volatile asteroid belt exists in the vicinity, and meteor showers are a constant occurrence on the planet's surface. Tauntauns belong to a large class of reptomammalian herbivores. Up to 15 species have so far been identified. Generally strong and swift-running, all species are warm-blooded with a self-regulating internal temperature system. All have bodily fur covering a resilient, scaly hide under which is a protective layer of blubber. They feed on frozen algae and plants found in the tundric snow and on lichens and mosses growing in glacial caves and valleys. Body secretions released through scales create a distinctly unpleasant odor. A dual sets of nostrils warm air in turns before it reaches lungs. Its ears are actually a set of scales to protect from cold. They swivel for maximum efficiency. Tauntauns live in herds of between 20 and 30, with females giving birth to live young. Eggs could not incubate in such cold. Young are able to feed themselves immediately upon birth, leaving mothers free to watch over and protect them. Mothers are able to regurgitate a form of milk from their crops if necessary. Males also have this capability, but they also use this milk for spitting when annoyed. The common or giant tauntaun can reach speeds of 90 km per hour and is an indispensable beast for the tough, intrepid settlers of Hoth, providing transportation, meat, and wool. After sundown, tauntauns take refuge in glacier caves or dig down into insulating snow, where they settle into a nocturnal sleep to save energy. During this sleep, they cease to excrete or produce their pungent odor so as not to attract predators. The climbing tauntaun is the smallest species. Strong and sinewy, it uses its muscularity and claws to climb the sides of glacial caves and canyons in search of lichens. The glacier tauntaun inhabits the icy caves and valleys. Known for its high-pitched and comical screech, it is rangier and more sparsely furred than its larger cousin. Sometimes, especially during long or savage Hoth ice storms, several species of tauntauns can be found foraging together in glacial caves. The alpha predator of Hoth, the wampa, is a creature of dread, power, and fierceness. A carnivorous reptimammal, the wampa hunts by stealth and surprise, rarely engaging in extended chases. It subsists primarily on tauntauns. The wampa locomotes on 2 or 4 legs, preferring 4 except when stalking or during an attack. When attacking, it rises to its hind legs to get a view, then charges forward in a deadly rush. Wampas dwell in ice caverns. They shed guard fur, which is gathered for nests. Zoologists are unclear if this is intelligent behavior or merely instinct. Prey is impaled on large icicles or stuck to cavern ceiling with saliva to keep meat fresh. Saliva acts as anesthetic in victims. Both wampas and tauntauns have similar curved horns, but these species are unrelated. Females give birth to up to 3 cubs and nurse their young. Avoid coming between a female wampa and her cubs. Giant space slug. Giant, worm-like creatures, space slugs can grow up to 900 meters. They are actually a silicon-based life form, more mineral than animal, which can exist in virtually no atmosphere. They anchor themselves deep into caverns and primarily digest the rock and stone that surround them. Space slugs are extremely long-lived, but they ultimately petrify into a cave as they die. And they reproduce by fission. Though it snacks on anything that enters its gullet, the space slug generally gets nutrients from the asteroid. The largest are found on asteroids near Hoth. Smaller specimens are found throughout the galaxy. Minox, silicon-based parasites, feed on the space slug's veins and intestinal linings. They also eat power cables and energy conductors. They reproduce by fission. Several species have extra sucking mouth for parasitic connection. From afar, Dagobah is a planet of immense mystery and beauty, for the atmosphere is so thick and dense that onlookers only see swirling clouds and nothing of the ground below. However, upon entering the atmosphere, the sense of beauty is replaces by one of foreboding, as active volcanoes and electrical storms create swirling winds, shifting colors, and radical flashes of luminosity. Not only that, but the planet's tripolarized gravity hangs entering craft in a buffeted limbo of velocity until the ship hits what some scientists believe to be a channel of rising Pratyon. This invisible, as yet unproven element surrounds the craft, slows it down, and pulls it seemingly by remote control into the murky gloom below. Whatever the cause of this phenomenon, spacecraft are all but impossible to control until lower altitudes are reached. Primeval murkiness covers the planet's surface. Fogs rise from bogs, trees struggle under the weight of luminescent mosses, flocks of ancient juba birds crisscross the sky. Thankfully, after descending below the clouded upper and middle atmospheres, instruments return to normal, and it is possible to fly safely and find an adequate landing place. The giant swamp slug is a huge, amphibious mollusk that stalks the shallow water channels throughout the Dagobah swamp. Omnivorous and rapacious, swamp slugs suck up and pulverize any organic material they find. Thousands of tiny, grinding, esophageal teeth can reduce any plant or animal to digested slime. It has compound eyes for vision in low light and heavy mists. Filtered nostril for slight underwater breathing. The slugs are hermaphroditic, but need a mate to reproduce. Each lays hundreds of eggs in the muddy silt, but most eggs are eaten by other swamp predators. This massive, omnivorous, super predator travels stealthily underwater until it rears up on its strong tail to slash victims with its razor-sharp claws. Occasionally seen warming itself on exposed rocks. Dragon snakes have strong, propulsive lower tails. Large, tusk-tailed amphibians, scranges lift out of the mud on crustaceal legs for quick attack. Many amphibious creatures have bioluminescent patches to light their way through undergrowth or attract prey. Small, aquatic, carnivorous amphibian whose quick speed and rapid jaws decimate prey before it knows it's been attacked. A cousin of the Narpara, and equally dangerous, the morp anchors itself into wormholes and paralyzes prey by poisonous, stinging bites. This carnivorous predator can swallow 15 times its body weight. The python hunts by draping itself on low branches and waiting. The spotlight sloth is a furry mammal with a waterproof coat that forages for succulent lodia plants. The sloth exposes the lodia to the light from the glowing set of phosphorescent patches on its chest, and the plant responds by unfolding its leaves, revealing flowers and berries that the sloth quickly gobbles up. This crustaceal arachnid spins micro-fine, razor-sharp webs in the fallen branches and low-lying roots of trees to snare and slice prey to bits. The knobby white spider, despite popular misconception, is neither arthropod or animal but, in fact, the immature spore form of the large and expansive gnarltree. Indeed, the spore form is so uniquely ambulatory and feeds so much legion animal it defies precise categorization, though in maturity it is undeniably a plant. The knobby white spider develops in bud colonies on the roots of gnarltrees. It releases itself during a period of active adolescence. During this period the spider is very vulnerable to predation and is eaten by bogwings and juba birds, among others. Surviving spider forms plant themselves in the muck, developing chrysalis-like bark, from which roots and branches begin to grow. Comical reptavians that feed upon flying insects, scoop mud up from banks for construction of nests on sides of branches and trunks. The greater bogwing, a Reptavian too, feeds upon Canopy rodensa in the upper levels. The smaller subspecies, the lesser bogwing, patrols the lower levels. The leaf-tailed is a rodent that inhabit all levels of the Dagobah rainforest. It has a membranous tail that aids in balance and camouflage, and the cheeks expand to gather cyanoberries. Up to 5 young per litter. Chisels out holes in trees with teeth for nesting purposes. Spade-headed smuka has ulnar skin flaps that stiffen when leaping to effect a glide. Diet includes not only berries and nuts but also bogwing and juba bird nestlings, and their eggs will also eat unguarded leaf-tailed pups.